You know, I just don't think I'm into buying plants anymore. Actually, I don't think I'm going to buy any plants at all this year. Believe it or not, I actually tried to find some plants to buy. Couldn't find any. I think I may have actually lost my interest. Yeah, I guess I'll just have to enjoy the plants that I already have. Hang on, I'll have to call you back. Hi, 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 hi. What do you have there? Where? Behind your back? What back? I don't have a back. What? Well, I think it's pretty obvious I got some plants. Hello friends, this is Miro and welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and today we have a plant haul. I don't typically like to do plant haul videos, but last week I got 3 new plants and I decided to show them to you along with some other plants that I got. Actually, I got 4 plants last week. Can't count. Today I will show you some of the plants that I got a couple of weeks ago as well, and some that I got about a month ago. I'm not quite sure on the date, and I didn't get to show them to you, but I think it will be very important for us to follow their progress for several different reasons. Now, I was kinda on a no-buy, and I was doing really well, and honestly, I don't remember when was the last time I bought any plants. You know, just because you don't remember when was the last time you bought a plant, it doesn't mean you didn't buy one recently. Would you excuse me for a moment? I have something to fix. Anyways, as I was saying, I didn't get plants in a long time for me, maybe more than a month. And a lot of the plants I actually got trading with my friends who also have plants. So I didn't purchase plants, I feel. It's been a long time. Come to think of it, I can't remember what was the last plant I actually purchased. Anyways, let's just focus on the haul here. Some of these plants have been on my wish list for a very long time, so I'm very glad that I got them. Some of them are doing really well, some of them are not doing so well. And for those that are not doing so well, don't worry, I was totally prepared for that. I actually got them for free, basically, because they are not doing so well. So my job is to recover them, and we will just check on that progress. So the first plant I want to show you is this Philodendron Burle Marx. You can see he's a bit of a downer, but I think he will perk up. I'm not sure. It seems like it's a very dry pot. It arrived in cocoa coir, as you can see. It's very dense, and because it's a bit colder, I couldn't really figure out the first day if the potting mix was cool or if it was wet. So I'm giving it a couple of days before I water it, but I do think this one should be watered soon. There are some leaves that are a bit bent because, of course, of the shipping, but of course there are some nicer leaves in this plant, like this one or this one. And I never really saw this plant being sold, so wherever you live in the world, this may be very common. It is quite uncommon here. The reason why I like this plant is it has that longer leaf. Not as narrow and as long as I want it to be, like some of my other wishlist plants, which are, by the way, Philodendron bilietiae and Philodendron atabapoense. Honestly, sometimes atabapoense sounds like some sort of a curse. I like those philodendrons with really narrow and really long leaves, but for now, I think this one will do. I still do love this plant very much. It's quite different from any other philodendron that I have, which makes me very happy. As to where I will put it, I have no idea. I will repot it soon, and I think this one will go in semi-hydro. There are a couple of growth points here, and what I noticed with this philodendron is that it actually produces a good number of growing points. I see there are 2 main ones, but I can see about 6 of the tiny ones that are starting on each side, I guess. I think this will be a very good grower, and we just have to figure out what we will do with these leaves. If they don't perk up, I might put stakes temporarily so they can be up. I do think this philodendron does get quite big. I don't think leaves get necessarily bigger, but as a form, it's kind of a bushy plant with a lot of plantlets, I guess, so I would like to try to keep it small. So don't be surprised if I cut it up quite frequently on the channel. Next plant from a recent plant haul is, can you guess it? Will it be a Hoya? What do you think? If you said yes, you are right. It is a Hoya pachyclada. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this is the Hoya pachyclada that I got. There is one that I really love. It's called the New Moon, and that one I think has a variegated margin. I think maybe it's the inner part that's variegated. Doesn't matter. There is one that's variegated called the New Moon. This is just the regular green version. It has a white flower. It actually has a peduncle that I just noticed. So that is very nice. The leaf is slightly pubescent, and to be honest, I love how this leaf feels when you rub it. It seems to me that this is one of those more robust Hoyas, like Hoya Kerry, just by looking at the stem. It did arrive in my favorite potting mix. It arrived in coconut husk. I love it. I honestly cannot, I just love it. I don't like it, that was very ironic. The roots look extremely dry to me. I think a lot of these roots are dead. I will have to hydrate it, it's completely dry. So for me, this is a challenge. It's a challenge to water. If you water it normally, this basically will not retain any moisture in my experience, and I don't want to water every day. I think you could maybe even water several times a day with this. I will try to free it from this, and I might need to root the plant again. We will see how damaging the process will be, but it will definitely have to go. Now, I may wait for the peduncle to see if it will develop, but if I see that it's jeopardizing the general health of the plant, I will not care about the peduncle. I will just fix the situation. For now, the plant seems very healthy. It doesn't seem dehydrated, so I think we can make this work for at least a couple of weeks until we see what will happen with the peduncle. In any case, when and if I decide to remove this, I will make sure to record a video because there are a lot of requests on how to remove coconut husk, so I will show that, and we will see if we will need to cut it or if we will be able to remove it and save some of the roots. Currently, it looks to me like one of the worst situations. It seems that we might need to cut it, but we will see. We will assess that situation later on. So this is Hoya pachyclada. Yes, I know. So this is a Calathea. Didn't you say you don't like Calatheas anymore and you're never going to buy a Calathea ever again? Okay, when have I ever said that? I absolutely loathe Calatheas. Spider mites again? What else is new? I hate you. I'm never getting a Calathea again. So yes, I did get a Calathea or Goeppertia, however that is pronounced. In my defense, if I can defend myself, it is the one that I wanted for a long time, and I did always say that I will get an orbifolia. So this is Calathea orbifolia or Goeppertia orbifolia. It is very lovely and I have no regrets, okay? I have no regrets. A couple of the bottom leaves, like this one and another one that left us, they seem in a slightly less than ideal shape, but the overall I think plant is fine. It's a very tiny plug, and this is also one of my attempts to get more plants, but small plants, because plants don't grow, as you know. It's a fact when you get them small. I think it will look very cute. It will not stay in this. I actually think I might try to experiment with this, but I do want to try to find the best way for growing Calatheas. So far, they have been doing really well in my self-watering planters that I hacked myself, but I don't think they have one that is this small, and I don't want to overpot it. So I will have to figure something else, and I do have a couple of ideas on mind, and you know, I will let you know, I will keep you updated. But also I just want to say, don't be surprised if you see more of these tiny Calatheas, because I think they're so cute. And also they have very few leaves, so if you get spider mites, easy to find. And I know, it happened. That's all I can say. Another plant I recently got, and this one I got from a friend, is this Syngonium. I saw this is like mottled Syngonium. There is supposed to be Syngonium mojito, and I think sometimes they say those are two different clones with similar variegation, I think. I read somewhere that mottled is when it's lighter variegation on a darker leaf, light green, and then mojito is when it's also lighter variegation but on a light green leaf. I think this is a dark green leaf. I have no idea. I think my friend also told me this is a mottled Syngonium. I think it is lovely. It is a smaller cutting but a lovely big leaf here, and it is pushing out a root. Actually, it's starting to activate more new roots. So this one will get potted very, very soon. I don't think these are particularly difficult to grow, and I just love this type of variegation. This is one of the reasons that I got Philodendron camouflage, and I think they beeped me over and sent me a golden dragon because it doesn't look like camouflage. And basically this is the type of the variegation that I was looking for. The light green on dark green leaves. So I'm very happy to have this plant. It's also one small cutting, so it will not grow. It will stay like this forever and small and cute, right? It will not become a giant plant. I'm going to show you more of the plants that I got from that friend through a trade. I have here Philodendron pastazanum, and this has been my wish list plant for a very long time. It does have these two leaves there. No, they started to go yellow a bit, but I think that's okay. The plant rooted, it grew roots in leca, and you can see I have top layer of rocks. In one of my videos, I discussed why top layer of rocks on leca is a good idea. My friend Annabelle from the Orchid Room channel, this is basically her invention. You can go to her channel and see why this works well. I will probably make a video about it in the future, but I will not linger on it today. It is pushing out one new leaf. This is the first leaf that will grow in my care. So I would say that I got this about a month ago, maybe less. It was slightly before the New Year's. So I'm very excited to see what the first leaf will look like. Maybe the first leaf will not look the best, but I think from the second leaf we can know what to expect with this plant. It seems to me it adjusted really well to my conditions. It grew really strong roots down into the leca, so that is excellent. And I know this one gets really, really big, but I honestly adore it. It is one of my favorite plants that I ever saw on the internet. And you know, sometimes you see plants on the internet and when you receive them, you're a bit disappointed. Well, this one doesn't disappoint. It is as lovely in person to me as I expected. Now this is the next one. This is a vase. So this is a plant that is not doing the best. I got it at the same time like Philodendron pastazanum, and this is a Gloriosum. I think it was sold to her as Gloriosum pink. It did have one more leaf, but that one quickly turned to yellow, and you know, this one, well, it's not on the way out yet, but close to being on the way out. I don't know why I didn't move this. However, it does have a growing point here, and you will see in the B-roll. Now it is in moss. It did arrive with some roots. I put it in leca, but they didn't really grow at all. This is a recent change to the setup. It took me a long time. You know, I was kind of hoping something will happen in leca, but it didn't. I'm trying to root it currently, and I do think it will be okay. None of it is mushy. There is a growth point, so I think I will be able to get something out of it. You know, it just needs time, and after all, this was quite a recent change in the setup. We will keep you updated. I don't know who we are, but I will keep you updated. This one is quite lovely. She was very worried that this one won't make it because it was a tiny cutting. It is in Ceramis, and this is Begonia Thurstonii. Actually, it was quite easy to root. It did lose one leaf when it was rooting, but again, they were very, very tiny. But I'm very happy I have it and it's doing so well. The leaves, I tried to capture it on camera for you, but they're lovely. They're kind of between brown, green, golden with a lovely red back. I adore this begonia. It's probably one of my favorite begonias, and I hope it is not very finicky because I don't do so well with begonias. It will get a change of setup. I did use the Ceramis to root it better, but I don't think it will stay in Ceramis. I think it might get changed to semi-hydro because I want to try begonias in semi-hydro, and I think they will do well. So yeah, this is Begonia Thurstonii. Another plant I got is Monstera siltepecana. It's a tiny Monstera siltepecana, you can see, very tiny leaf. Again, it did arrive with one leaf, but it was a bit yellow from the start, and of course, while the cutting rooted, the leaf gave out. That's normal, nothing to worry about there. It is growing a new leaf, and it's actually growing new roots that are going down into leca. I think it's doing really well. I think I see a couple of new roots actually forming on this new growth, and this plant isn't available here. I don't think it's quite common in Europe. My friend Kathy from Australia tells me it's very, very common in Australia, which I envy you for, but it is a really lovely plant. And I can't wait for the leaves to get larger, to get those true siltepecana leaves. It's doing really well so far. I wish it didn't give out on that one leaf, but then again, you know, it's perfectly fine. You can see the plant continued to grow. So no biggie. Sometimes it just takes a bit more time. I think those are all the plants from that one trait, and we have 3 more. I will show you first this one. This is an orchid. This is Luducia discolor alba. I did want to bring my Luducia discolor for this video. Wait a moment, I will get up. So this is my other Luducia discolor. This is the regular one. I have been saying I will repot this plant for a year now. The pot is too small, it doesn't have room to grow. It's turning into a hanging plant at this point. I really don't know. It's full of flowers. Some of them are, of course, out of bloom, but there are a few buds that are supposed to bloom there. And if we just compare these two, you can see that the alba is lighter green, so the regular discolor is more of a brownish green. Alba is lighter green, and the veins, I think, are pretty much the same color, maybe slightly lighter on the alba. I had one Luducia in Ceramis already, and it did really well. I think I repotted it somewhere. It's in one of the larger pots now. It really likes to be moist. So this one is in bark and moss, but it really needs to be repotted. I mean, you can see there it's a mess. The reason that I didn't do it yet is I will need a very large pot for it. Something shallow but very wide. And that's a problem because I don't know where that will go in my setup. I don't think this one will become a problem anytime soon. It's quite cute and tiny. So maybe I will give some of this plant away. Maybe I will cut it back because it grows really fast actually once it settles in, and I just don't think I have infinite space for Luducia. I would love to. It's a lovely plant, but I do have other plants as well. I have 2 more plants that you will not actually see. I will show you the B-roll and you will understand why. The first one arrived with Luducia discolor alba, and it's currently in IKEA Ziploc bag. There is moss on the bottom with a bit of perlite. It's closed tightly. You can see there's a lot of moisture in there. I blew some air inside, kind of like the perlite method, but just with sphagnum moss. And it sits on my Hoya shelf on a heat mat. There is a barrier between the heat mat and the bag, because my plants are not sitting directly on the heat mat. There is the IKEA tray on it. But it's Philodendron melanocrism. It arrived a bit dehydrated. I traded this for another plant of mine, for a cutting of my another plant. And yeah, it is a bit dehydrated, but I was fully aware of that. And now I see it starting to push one root, and I'm very happy about it. I hope it does push it out. It is pushing it in a slightly inconvenient place. So there is a node below, then the leaf, and then a node above. And that was supposed to be the top, but the top, when it arrived, it was dead, it was dry. But it's pushing a root closer to the top, so I'm not quite sure how that will work out. I wish it would push out some roots closer to the node, or down below where the node with the leaf is. But I will not be picky. I will just let it do whatever it wants. If it pushes out a root, that is great. It means it will be able to get some nutrition into this cutting and some moisture. And then we will see with the new growth. There are 3 possible places where the new growth can come from. I really am not expecting more than one. I just want one new growth so this plant can take off. I think it will be a long time. I don't think until next year we will see any normal size leaves. You know, the goals for this plant for this year is to get 2 or 3 tiny leaves just so we can see it's okay, it's fine, and then the next year maybe we can expect slightly bigger, maybe my home that size. That's what I want from you next year. And then the true melanocrism leaves, I don't expect that in 20 years. I will be an old man. You are an old man already, I know. And the last plant, I don't even know if this qualifies as a plant, is a Philodendron Pink Princess stump. This is from another friend. I actually didn't trade anything for this. She sent me this because her Philodendron Pink Princess wasn't doing well. And when it arrived, it had a leaf, again, extremely dehydrated because she had a very difficult time rooting it. First, I tried to, just to propagate it in leca, but that didn't really work. And the leaf continued to dry out and eventually it fell off. So it has been sitting for quite some time in this Ziploc bag, over a month, and I'm not seeing any improvement. I see that the stump is still alive, so there is hope. There are whispers of the new growth, but I'm not putting too much faith into this. But I did want to show you this stump, because I think I said in one of my videos that I don't really like Pink Princess, and that is still true. It seems to me it's very difficult to root for some reason. I'm not sure why this one has been so challenging for her as well. And she's by no means a plant novice. But the reason I don't love Pink Princess is if you don't get one with a decent variegation, it pretty much won't look like a nice plant. And I think the leaf, this one had just one tiny splash. Anyways, I also want to keep this as an experiment to see, first of all, if I can root it like this, if this stump will ever come back to life, and then so we can see what type of variegation will come out of this stump. I plan to do a lot of experiments on this. Maybe that's why it doesn't want to start growing. It's afraid of the future. Don't be afraid, little stumpy. I will keep you updated on that plant, and I think on all of the plants, especially the ones that we noticed are not doing so well. I'm extremely happy to have all these plants now. Some of them have been on my wish list for a very long time, like Philodendron melanocrism. And even though it doesn't look good now, I think there is a potential for it to look good in the future. And I don't think we can always expect to get the best cutting. For some people, it's very difficult to get a cutting of a plant because of import laws and several other things. And they are getting more and more expensive, which makes it even more difficult. We all work with what we have. And in the future, if you see tiny melanocrism, well, I will be very happy. Those are all the plants that I recently got. I hope you enjoyed seeing them. Let me know down in the comments below which one was your favorite. I have several favorites. Currently, if I would have to say now, I would say the Syngonium. I just love the mottled variegation. I can't believe I didn't pick the Hoya. Also, what I would like to know is, were you on a no-buy ban or whatever? Did you break it, the ban? And if you did, what plants did you get? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, but you're liking the content, I mean, it's polite to subscribe. I also now have a Patreon page, and the link to that will be in the description below. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. I hope your plants are doing really well. And I will see you in my next video. Bye! I would like to take some time to thank my patrons. A big shout out to my $5 patrons: Betsy Begonia, Bonnie Harris, Kathy L, Kelsey Jager, Melissa Walker, Nicole Ferranti, Vicky Dingler, Therese Gutman, and my one anonymous patron. Also, a big thank you to my $3 patrons: Angelina Farnan, Becca Panyard, Liz Martinez, Nahom, Ivana, and Nikki. And a thank you to my $1 patron, Freehitty and Ask. I hope you're having a wonderful time enjoying the videos, and thank you so much for your support. See ya!